Obsessed with this case? All right, there are millions of people who are obsessed with this case.
Justin Baldoni dropped a bombshell on Blake Lively this morning, and he's dragging her husband Ryan Reynolds down with her.
People have this safe space thanks to Justin and his family's generosity. I mean, really.
Are actually just creeps, and they are using those attitudes to cover up their bad behaviors, and Blake's team, the New York Times, positioned Justin Baldoni.
The legal feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has captivated Hollywood and the public alike, but in a game-changing moment, Megyn Kelly has weighed in, and she's not holding back. In a recent commentary, Kelly completely dismantled Blake's case, highlighting glaring inconsistencies, alleged manipulation, and what she calls a media-fueled attempt to save face. Kelly's blunt take has reignited conversations about the lawsuit, adding to the growing chorus of voices criticizing Blake's legal strategy and public narrative.
Talking about Justin Baldoni, the lawsuit, and the mother of dragons, okay? So this suit alleges civil extortion, defamation, and a few other contract-related claims. And so without going over what we have already talked about in my last video, let's just get right into it here. Now, this lawsuit filed, again, talks about the problems that happened during the filming of the movie It Ends With Us.
While the Blake versus Baldoni feud has had its fair share of twists and turns, Kelly's scathing analysis has become a focal point, challenging both the legitimacy of Blake's claims and the media's portrayal of the case. With Blake's career on the line, Ryan Reynolds facing his own backlash, and public sentiment rapidly shifting, this legal battle has become one of the most explosive celebrity controversies of the year. So how exactly did Megyn Kelly destroy Blake's case, and what's next for both parties? Let's dive into the latest revelations and fallout.
Blake's not alone in the doghouse. Author Colleen Hoover actually launched a nail polish collab and a coloring book for It Ends With Us, a movie about abuse in a coloring book. And if you thought all that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. After all the negative buzz came out about Blake Lively, allegations leaked that Justin Baldoni was abusive on set. And I say leaked because really this is a PR war between Justin Baldoni's PR team.
Megyn Kelly's commentary didn't just target Blake, it called out the entire media landscape surrounding the case. Kelly argued that many outlets have been too quick to side with Blake without scrutinizing the facts, accusing journalists of gaslighting the public and failing to question Blake's shifting narrative. Kelly emphasized that Blake's lawsuit is riddled with contradictions and suggested that the media's favorable coverage has shielded her from the harsh scrutiny Baldoni has faced. Her remarks have sparked heated debates online, with many agreeing that Blake's public relations campaign has overshadowed the legal facts.
Obsessed with this case? All right, there are millions of people who are obsessed with this case. I'm going to give you a little background on it, and then you will be obsessed with it. And I'll tell you, there's a reason why conservatives in particular are following this so closely. It makes sense to me. All right, so you know who Blake Lively is, right? Most people know her. Yeah, see, the people who are booing, they know. Then there's this guy, Justin Baldoni, who's not as well known. And yeah, see, they've been following the story. So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie across from him. He played the abusive guy and she played the woman. And this is the thrill of a lifetime for this guy. The problem for Blake Lively, in my opinion, is that she does not improve upon acquaintance. And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her, the more her promotional efforts for a film about domestic violence felt off. She was full of giggles and laughter and wanted to promote her liquor brand. Like, nothing says domestic violence like a bottle of tequila. What? So it felt weird, and she started to get hit by some of the media for being insensitive. Then this one reporter re-upped a video in which she interviewed a then 8-month pregnant Blake, and kicked off the interview as you would do as a journalist if there's something obviously different about somebody physically by saying,
adding fuel to the fire, Justin Baldoni has filed a $400 million countersuit against Blake and Ryan Reynolds, alleging defamation and career sabotage. The countersuit claims that Blake's accusations were not only unfounded, but part of a coordinated attempt to damage Baldoni's reputation. Megyn Kelly highlighted this countersuit in her analysis, pointing out that filing such a massive claim indicates Baldoni is confident in his evidence and determined to clear his name.
Justin Baldoni dropped a bombshell on Blake Lively this morning, and he's dragging her husband Ryan Reynolds down with her, suing them both for $400 million. $400 million is a lot of money, and it looks like he's taking down Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan. Shout out to the Sloans out there. He's suing on claims of civil extortion, defamation, false light invasion of privacy, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, intentional interference with contractual relations, economic advantage, and much more. He's also calling her out for trying to sell her alcohol brand and sell her hairline while they're promoting a movie about domestic violence. Let's go through the general claims that Justin is making about Blake and her crew. Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story.
In what was meant to be a light-hearted moment, Ryan Reynolds' joke during Saturday Night Live has instead become a legal headache. Experts have noted that the joke, which seemed to reference the lawsuit, could be used as evidence of Blake and Ryan's attempts to mock and downplay the seriousness of the allegations. Kelly didn't mince words, calling the joke tone-deaf and questioning whether Reynolds realizes how much it's undermined Blake's credibility in court.
People have this safe space thanks to Justin and his family's generosity. I mean, really, I don't see or hear much from Blake's team. I mean, I guess we hear occasionally from Blake's team. I couldn't tell you their names or their faces, but Justin's attorney, I mean, to me, he's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and the PR battle right now, I think, is being won by the Baldoni camp because they seem to have the truth on their side, or at least they're acting like it. And the allegations against him are so sort of general.
The situation worsened for Blake when leaked evidence began circulating online. Documents, emails, and behind-the-scenes footage reportedly contradict some of her key claims. Notably, timeline inconsistencies and communications, suggesting prior consent to certain scenes, have dealt a devastating blow to her case. Kelly argued that these leaks are more than just embarrassing. They could be the smoking gun that dismantles Blake's entire argument in court.
Justin's side in this whole Justin versus Blake Lively situation, Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively situation, y'all. And this is going somewhere. Okay, it is going somewhere. Before we get into it, though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up. And over there, we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section of what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. I'm also on Spotify and Like to Know It.
Megyn Kelly isn't the only high-profile figure weighing in. Candace Owens revealed she's been in discussions with journalists like Taylor Lorenz about the case, suggesting a broader conversation is unfolding within media circles about bias and accountability. Kelly pointed out that the sheer number of commentators calling out Blake's narrative shows how rapidly public perception is shifting.
And she was asking me specifically about this lawsuit and why is it that it seems that it's bringing together the left and the right. And I sort of said to her, well, actually, at least for me, I have been on this Me Too thing for a very long time because I recognized that it was becoming a business strategy. But I think that something fractured for people that were on the left with the Amber Heard lawsuit, and they didn't forget that. They didn't forget what Amber Heard said to them and then what they watched throughout the hearings and her kind of just completely forgetting the fact that she had abused Johnny. We got to read her messages, and we kind of up close got to see how the press can just completely take down a man. I'm not saying that everything that Johnny Depp did was great in this relationship. I mean, both of them were admitting to doing drugs on the stand, but it definitely, they just chose the woman in this.
As the backlash intensifies, industry insiders are starting to ask the question nobody thought possible. Is Blake Lively's career over? With mounting evidence, growing public skepticism, and media figures like Kelly criticizing her at every turn, Blake's once untouchable reputation is in freefall. Kelly didn't hold back, saying, "You can't build your entire case on shaky ground and expect Hollywood to stand by you when the truth starts unraveling."
Campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. And in this lawsuit, she claims that he fat-shamed her, which we had heard about, 6 months ago, that he busted into her trailer repeatedly while she was breastfeeding when she did not want that. She alleges that he was constantly sexual and made her and other women listen to him talking about his former porn addiction. She says that he tried to force sex scenes into the project that she was not comfortable with, allegedly made women on set watch videos of his naked wife giving birth, which was pornographic, as Blake and her team put it. She alleged that he did not want to hire an intimacy coordinator, and so it was very uncomfortable on set. She also alleges that there was a whole team meeting to address all of these concerns and that they actually laid them all out in a document, which they did put in the New York Times article, saying, hey, here are all of our concerns, this is what you're doing, busting into my trailer. And they are using those attitudes to cover up their bad behaviors, and Blake's team in the New York Times positioned Justin Baldoni just like that. And I'll admit, it got me. I was like, ooh, that is not good if these are correct, again, because of how he has presented his entire brand for the last, 10 plus years. And for a moment, over those couple of days on Christmas, I'm sure that Blake felt like everything was right in the world because people were on her side. They were like, oh, this does not look great. Apparently we screwed with the wrong person. We fell for this coordinated PR campaign. I am sure she felt like she was on top of the world.
Adding to the PR disaster, some outlets have started branding Blake with the Mean Girl label, a narrative that's gaining traction as more details emerge. Critics argue that her handling of the lawsuit, combined with behind-the-scenes stories from colleagues, paints a picture of someone willing to bully her way through a legal battle. Kelly touched on this perception, warning that reputations are hard to rebuild once that kind of narrative takes hold.
Oh, men get to age like fine wine. Women are expected to look forever young, and I'm just kind of forever tired seeing women constantly being shamed, often by other women, for the fact that, gasp, she managed to survive life and had another birthday. How dare she stay alive? We must not let her be relevant in anything. She is 30 and above, for God's sakes. Honestly, the smartest women I know are in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. So to those who participate and perpetuate shaming women for their age, may ageism haunt you every day you're older than 25 for the rest of your life. With peace and love, of course.
Blake's professional life isn't the only thing taking a hit. Endorsements and potential film projects are reportedly being reconsidered. Brands are distancing themselves, and production companies are wary of being associated with the ongoing controversy. Kelly suggested that unless Blake finds a way to reverse the narrative quickly, she could face long-term consequences far beyond this lawsuit.
It was really bizarre and confusing because Justin's message was the one that really seemed to resonate positively with audiences. He really seemed to put a lot of thought and time and research into the movie, understanding survivors of DV and how to support them, and ultimately appeared very humble and thoughtful on the red carpet.
Jory, the question that's always asked is, why did she stay? And that's the wrong question. What we need to be asking ourselves is, why do men harm?
What's really sad is that apparently audiences had a really positive reaction to the movie overall, especially anything that Justin Baldoni was responsible for, which is pretty much everything except for the wardrobe and the music. And I will just say one brief sentence on it. She had the character who's like a regular person, a flower shop owner, wearing Christian Louboutin shoes. She borrowed clothes from her friend Gigi Hadid. She put Lana Del Rey and Taylor Swift's music in the movie. It really seems like Blake Lively was just being Blake, and marketing Blake. And people have even gone so far as to suggest that Blake's entire involvement in the product was just to market her hair care line.
Legal experts and commentators have analysed how a workplace dispute escalated into one of the biggest celebrity legal dramas of the year. From poorly timed jokes to contradictory statements, every misstep has compounded Blake's problems. Megyn Kelly argued that the case's escalation is a classic example of fighting the wrong battles and paying the price.
I'm starting to think maybe Blake Lively's telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's panel discussion. As you all know, I try to stay on top of all the big political and cultural stories because I'm a man of the culture, at least I aspire to be. I want our listeners to be informed on current issues. Sometimes even I miss something. In this particular controversy, it has not penetrated my thick skull. I'm talking about the ongoing drama surrounding Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and the wild claims coming from the set of It Ends With Us.
Was sued by his co-star Blake Lively for sexual harassment. That then turned into a counter-defamation suit. And while ordinarily in the last couple of years, I think you would have automatically seen America latch onto a sexual harassment suit with immediately calls to believe all women and trust all women, fascinatingly, public opinion has largely been on the side of Justin Baldoni, at least on TikTok and Instagram Reels and in the podcast space, which I think is really signifying a massive shift in American culture today, returning to our foundations of a country of innocence until guilt is proven, and the idea that you can't just blindly accuse someone. We don't know whether or not this is true, and hopefully if this ends up going through the court system, that answer will be provided to the American people. But in the meantime, you can't just blindly accuse someone you don't like or had a difficult relationship with.
With trial dates approaching and public scrutiny at an all-time high, both sides face immense pressure. Baldoni's team is reportedly preparing to release even more evidence, while Blake's legal counsel scrambles to mitigate the damage. Kelly concluded her segment with a blunt assessment. Unless Blake has an ace up her sleeve, this case is headed toward a disastrous outcome for her.
The original complaint came out. We saw Blake's side of this.
Right.
Which painted one picture.
Right.
And then we started to see Justin's side over time when he finally filed his suits. The first one was against the New York Times, and then secondly, he filed against Blake and Ryan.
But they were like $250 million suits or something.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And there's multiple causes of action, and we'll see who wins on what.
So he's suing the New York Times.
Correct.
For false information or something, right?
Yeah.
What is he suing them for?
So defamation, false light, which is very similar. I also think that there was a promissory fraud in there as well, because if you look at the facts, I don't know if I'm putting that to sleep.
No. Honestly, I love all this stuff. What is
that? Megyn Kelly's takedown of Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni has ignited a firestorm, exposing cracks in Blake's narrative that even her most loyal supporters can't ignore. With leaked evidence, media personalities turning against her, and public opinion shifting by the day, Blake faces a career-defining crossroads. Baldoni's $400 million countersuit only raises the stakes, ensuring that this legal battle will be anything but quiet.
Is it the fact that Blake...
But they're in different leagues, right?
Yeah. That's my question.
These two are Hollywood royalty. He is a scrappy guy coming up. How dare he battle with us during a movie? Listen, teach you a lesson. And that's what we're getting. That's the message right here. And I think that that's the reason that people are generally siding on one side. And I think Justin Baldoni is winning at this point in the court of public opinion, which means nothing except if you're an actor or an actress, and it means everything. And the minute you get blackballed in this world, things crumble very quickly.
Did you see that Ari Emanuel, who is conveniently also Meghan Markle's agent, who was the incredible character?
As Megyn Kelly and other commentators continue to spotlight the inconsistencies and missteps in Blake's case, the once beloved actress finds herself fighting not just in the courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. Can she turn things around, or is this the beginning of a long and messy downfall? one thing is clear. This drama is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be even more explosive.